So, hello and welcome to our last course of our free course edition. And today we will put hands on AI. So let's summarize what happens in the last four courses. We start to talk about um, Bitcoin, distributed ledger technology, DeFi systems, Web3, and all that stuff. And we talked about IoT, Internet of Things, and smart cities. And yes, many people wonder why this is necessary to understand. And of course, we had an AI course with AI foundations to make you understand what AI is about. So think about you want to shape the future, and this is necessary to understand. If I were 18 years old now and I have the possibility to use artificial intelligence, I would use. And I will tell you why. Because this is a time where I can create anything on my own. I can build my knowledge on my own, and I can step into a world which is changing rapidly and which is in 10 up to 15 years not the same as we see today when we are looking out of the window. What that means for you is this is a unique chance to step up into new knowledge and in a world of self-sovereignty where you can choose where you want to work for and what you want to work for or create your own business. That's something you will see you never have the chance to do again. And this is something we do these courses here for people who can't afford to pay hundreds of dollars for a course, and last they come out just to recognize they have to pay more for next courses. What we're doing is we build a settlement layer for those people who can't afford to pay for. This is two-thirds of the world haven't got access to knowledge. I want to make that clear here that you really understand why we is doing. We're doing it also because a lot of scams out of there, and you have to have no chance to get knowledge which is wrong and which is right. And this is why we not only teach you in AI, but also in other technologies which are combined with AI. But if you do not have any clue about what these technologies are, this is a problem, a serious problem when people come, promise the future, and say invest in the future in a token and or something like that, and you can't understand if it is for real or not. So if you missed our course, you have the chance to recall this course on our YouTube channel, Smart World Education, youtube.com/@smartworldeducation. This is our YouTube channel, and you can recall everything there and make your mind open. So when we talk about AI, the most important thing is not what you can do, but how you do it. And how you do it is the final question of prompting for generative AI, mastering the art of communication with AI. That's exactly what it is. You want to become someone who is not only making funny pictures, but use this to price your own business. You want to use it for having serious informations about the world. You want to do your own courses. You want to study by your own. You know how to prompt in a way that is good, or you have to know how someone is can doing for you. That's what we will see today. So let's start. Um, and yes, now I show you some magic you can do with prompting if you understand the prompting. Let's
Hey,
go
what's up,
there.
Doc? Time to prompt the AI. Let's type. Transform me into Harry Potter with magic wand and robe. Wicked! Thanks for the tutorial.
Yeah, you see, that's magic for many people who do not know how to prompt and for many who do not use the right tools of graphic. So what happened will, I will show you also how we create something like that. And I show you the free tools. You do not have to pay in the AI world for all the special tools. This is only business. I show you the real thing behind the scenes. So let's talk a little bit. Okay, let's talk about why prompting matters. Let's talk about what we do later in our hands-on. Let's talk about the quality of AI output depends on the quality of your prompt. Prompting is a skill that improves with practice. Reword applications, education, business, creating, writing, coding, and more. So what I say to you is, let's start to discuss how you type into your ChatGPT. Most of the people just use it for Google or for some queries they have or whatever. So what you can do is, and this is the most important thing, you will learn how we prompt in a way that the machine is following you and you not following the machine by guessing, how can I tell the machine what I want? There's a difference. Yeah, this is a different in the point of view. We want that the machine is doing what we want, and we do not want to find out what we have to say or if we do it in the right way. And one important thing before we start, your language, how it sounds, how you to pronounce, and the way you talk doesn't matter. Yeah, you can you can speak in Chinese, you can speak in Rwanda, you can speak in language in your own language, you can speak in every language, you can even talk in slang. To speak and prompting with a machine like ChatGPT is one important thing to know. It is structured, and this is exactly what it means. It is structured, and this structure not depending on the sound of your voice or how you talk. It is the way you structure your input. And that's what we're going on here. Well, let me show you. That's exactly what it is. So here you see we have definitions. A prompt is the instruction or question you give to an A tool. Analogy, programming in plain English, your words shape the response. So try it. Describe a sunset on the beach. So you have an input, describe a sunset on the beach, and now after a while you have put it in your phone, we will see later, and you can type it now also. You can put it on your phone and type it in, or in your ChatGPT if you use a computer. Everyone will see a sunset. But that doesn't mean that everyone is seeing the same sunset. Yeah? If you do this like that, everyone has a different output of sunset because we do not describe exactly how the sunset should look like. So if everyone needs the same sunset on the same beach and the same environment, we have to create a prompt which you can copy and paste to every machine, which is so detailed that the machine hasn't got any chance to make choices. And this is not what ChatGPT was built for. ChatGPT is not for you types in something and the other guy gets the same um, output. It is always a little bit different and individual. So it's on you to make this individual to your effort and to your knowledge and to your advanced knowledge. That's exactly what it is. So what we say is, this is a normal chat. Yeah, when we prompt this, you chat with ChatGPT. This is nothing else more. Yeah, you have said describe a sunset on the beach. It's the same like you say to your partner at school, draw me a picture. Yeah. So an instruction is something different. Its instruction is tell the machine who she is, her role, and what is her job. So for example, if I want to have a beautiful sunset, I can say, hey, ChatGPT, you are a great painter, you are a great artist. So, and your role is to explain me how to make a sunset. So then you ask how to make a sunset and get a right answer, how to create a sunset, and then you can tell what it is. So the machine can also tell you what different of sunsets, what you have to, what you have to think over, and everything like that. So you see, you're really in with your prompts. And this is the one important thing. A role. Here we see it on a screen. You're a course designer, and the task is create a 15-week outline. Context, for a course title, you set the title of the course ein, and then you specify requirements. And this is the example here. You're a course designer, create a 15-week outline for a course about prompting, including weekly objectives and assessment. That's what you can type in. Now you are far away from chatting. Now you are an instruction. And the instruction defines how good your ChatGPT Grok or Gemini is working. For you to understand, it doesn't matter which large language module you use. So it is not necessary to use ChatGPT. You can transform this knowledge to every large language model because all work the same way. They're all based on the same technology, okay? So we decide to have a difference in prompting techniques. And when you read people, they always talk about zero-shot prompting. That means clear instructions, no examples. Then we have also few-shot prompting, and yes, role-based prompting is also a point. Yeah, and we have iterative prompting. So what does it mean? The zero-shot prompting is you have no examples, you want a result in minutes. So create me a picture with a sunset is a zero-shot prompting, okay? Few-shot prompting is create me a sunset. Think about an example that we're sitting on a beach in Africa and there is a sunset on an African beach. So you gave an example how the sunset looks like in an environment. So now you get a different sunset from that what you got when you only write, give me a sunset picture. Okay? And then a role based, think about you can type in now. Hey, you traveled the world, you are a tourist who has seen thousands of sunsets, and I want to have a romantic sunset on the beach where you finally has to decide which beach is for that romantic sunset the best of. Then you have clarified you do not want to have a common sunset which can be everywhere. You want a romantic one. And you wanted that specified that these a tourist should decide where the best sunset in the world is. So the more you precise, the more it comes. So another thing, do you want the sunset only about looking over the sea? You want the sunset in the garden? You want the sunset on the landscape? You want the sunset wherever? Type it in. The more you make clear what you expect, the more your imagination of a sunset becomes alive. And that's exactly what it is. We have to define not only that we want to see a sunset, but we have to define that we want to see in which area is the sunset. Is it, I would say, on which time of the day is it? Is it red sun? Is it yellow sun? Is it whatever? You can define that until perfection. And this is exactly description of a prompt. Description of a prompt is the instruction which is so clear that the machine is following you clearly because it has an understandable of your meaning and addressing. The fun fact is, if you start to work with chats and with prompts like that, ChatGPT and all the other models are recognizing your patterns in that and will learn from that. So after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you do not have to do it exact that way. You can shorten that because ChatGPT now knows what you need. So then you type in, show me a sunset. It will recognize what you have done to instruct her the times before. But, and this is something, do not get lazy. When you got into a new topic, for example, you want to write a Word document or you want to write an answer for an official statement, you have to clarify what should be answered. So, first, as an example, you upload a picture from your officials. Then you say, hey, I don't understand what they want from me. Then she explains to you what they want on the paper from you. Then you say, can you give me a reasonable answer of what I should do next? So that's what you have to prompt. That is exactly a way how you structure it. Give the picture in as an example, ask questions to that what it's written in there, and then say, hey, help me out. I don't know what to do. If you just say, here is a paper, tell me what, it works the same way, but you can't specify in that moment and it will ask you a lot of questions afterwards. The, the less you write, the longer you have to text with ChatGPT. And even when people say coding is prompting, it's right. But when I do a prompt which is so general that ChatGPT has to ask me thousands of questions, I will have 1 hour filling out all the questions of ChatGPT before I start. Other way around, I will create a website and make a picture on a paper of the website, how it will be. And you can do it. You can draw with your hand a picture of a website, how you think it should look. Then you upload the picture and say, create me a website from that with the following topics. And then you explain what the meaning of your website is. We show it you later here in this course. So everything is designed for a good prompt, and a prompt is about how you can structure your prompt. Yeah, give a role, describe what you want, be precise, describe what you not want. It's also a good technique to say, hey, I want a sunset, but I do not want to have it in a town. I wanted to have it elsewhere where you think it's a good place. So it's not in the town, right? That's the difference in prompting. And give some examples and what output you want. From all the techniques, this works best for everyone. These 3 steps. So zero-shot prompting is good if you have some questions about a document or something like that. But if you really want to do good movies, you really want to go good pictures, you really want to have a really good flyer for your next Instagram advertisement or whatever you would do, you have to understand that the instruction is the most important thing in all of that. So in ChatGPT, we can put the instructions also in the project. So you type the instructions, the role, who you are, and what should you do, and how should you answer. You put it into a chat box in a project, and then every chat is depending on that instruction. I will show you later. So, and again, here we see how advanced prompting strategies are working. When we talk about chain of thought prompting for complex reasoning, step initial prompt. An initial prompt is, okay, you say to ChatGPT, in general, you are a professor for medicine. Okay? Then the intermediate task. Then you should write, you're a special prof for dentist. Then you write the next thing, self-critique and refinement. So you write in that step, okay, if you are a dentist, go on the way and have a look if you use natural medicine preferred or modern biological medicine. So that's the self-critique and refinement. So he's not only a dentist, he has an initial prompt as he is a dentist. He should help you. That's the intermediate task. Help the guy who is writing here into the chat. And the self-critique is wage between if people are more depending on modern medicine or more classical natural medicine. Yeah, that's the self-critique, that's the refinement. So the final response, you say, okay, the final response should be you should you should explain the guy what's wrong with his tooth, if he needs an surgery or whatever. Okay? So when we do this all in prompt chaining, that means multi-step task. We do not write, hey, do that and that and that and that. We write, hey, you're a dentist, you're reasonable for the customer to explain him what happens to his teeth. You should decide whether what is in. We write it first, initial prompt, and then you write, you are a dentist, something like that. Then, second, intermediate task, you will write that. You do it like that. First, second, third, fourth. You do not say, do this and this. First, second, fourth. That's what multi-step tasks are about. Yeah? And then is something really important, and this is what you have to do. You have to improve and iterate your prompt if it's not working. Because when you work in this way, enhancing AI chain of thought, you create prompts you will reuse. These are not prompts you have one time for something, but if you want to make a report or you want to have a strategy or you want to have the dentist doing it all with all the guys sitting in front of the machine, you have to do it, you have to try it, and then you have to refine your strategy. That's always the same. No, really, the best prompts does not work from the first time. And think about if you copy and paste the prompt from the internet, from your favorite Instagram channel, you wonder often why it is not working. Because you have no refinement. It is not fitting for your necessaries. You have to think if the prompt fits to your necessaries. And that's very important. Copy a prompt and make it yours in your language, in your way to do this. Remember that video and then check whether this prompt fills the necessary you want. Is the initial prompt what you want? It's the intermediate taste of the prompt. Is this what the output is defining? Is this what you want? And then refine it. Yeah. And then the final response you will see is coming, even if you have copy and paste something because you got an idea from the internet and you want to do it by yourself. Check that. And at the end of the day, you have system prompts used which are tailoring the AI instructions. That's what I call engineering. It's not about only having a prompt, but try and error as long as the prompt fits into the output for future takes. And then you can make a task out of that you say to ChatGPT, every morning at 9 p.m., make me a report. Yeah, and so we have tailored your instruction that way that every morning the report is coming that way. And so you have created a task. Well, here, best practices, we see that. Be specified. Vague prompts yield vague results. That's exactly what it is, yeah? If you are too vague in your prompts, your results are none. Yeah, and you always sitting there and say, oh, I want it that way, that way, that way. What happens is that if you go that way, if you do not specify it in a really good way, you will turn around and have thousands of pictures with not fitting with your idea, and then ChatGPT or other LLMs suddenly start to do their own thing and bringing always the same output because you missed the point where you have to change your wording. Yeah, that's what it is. Set the tone and audience. Use step-by-step instructions. Don't write one big letter and then we want to have this, 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 this. No, make it instructional. Make a bullet point sheet or something like that. Yeah. First, you have to do that. Second, you have to do that. This is what best works with LLM. That's really what. Generate, review, adjust, regenerate, finalize. Always. Not today. You do it always. Yeah. And if you do that, and if you're really curious about good looking movies and pictures, you have to do that this way. You have to think about how can I make my idea precise in words. The future is not it's telling you about coding skills. It's not about how you can create an agentic AI robot or something like that. You can do it all with ChatGPT and the models itself in a much better and faster way if you know how to prompt in the right way by describing what you really want. That's where we go. So what we here get is also we have common prompting mistakes. How to avoid them. You see, always the problem is that we make mistakes. We want to avoid the mistakes. Yeah, and you see here, it's specific and clear. It's how your audience is reacting. Set the desired output. Review and refine prompts. But many people haven't got time. They overlay broad or ambiguous prompts, ignoring audience or context, failing to specify output formats, not iterating or refining prompts. So keep in mind what we had. Another thing is when you want to do something and work with ethical AI. That means when you want to prompt in a way that it is not harming and distracting people from your output, minimizing bias and misinformations, privacy and security in prompt design, responsible use of generative AI. That's, I tell you, because if you behave on this thing, for example, you can do a flyer where you point a finger on someone. Okay? Ask you ask yourself, is this a good flyer? Is this a bad flyer? Or you should make no flyer. Yeah. So if you do a flyer and you want to criticize something, do it in a way that people do not feel hurt. That's what we call ethical AI, for example. That's what we try to make people understand with responsible use of generative AI. Laws and lawmaker are looking for ways to cement this so that no one is coming on the idea to make a misunderstanding flyer, trick people out with flyers, or point a finger with a flyer on someone to humiliate him. Yes, this is something what you have to understand. And this is something where I say prompting is not only about structure, it's also about think about what happens after the prompt. So And here's some exercises. Basic Q&A prompts. Create a prompt. What are the benefits of exercise? Then role-based writing tasks. You're a fantasy storyteller. Write a tale about a brave knight rescuing a dragon from a cursed castle. And refine a prompt. Varg, talk